Peter Blacksley, very good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Did you know I'm an economist?
I didn't know that. Did you study for a long time to do that?
Well, when I say I'm
Where
an
in
economist,
Halifax did you work as an economist?
Well, what I mean is I actually went into the NatWest and cashed a cheque some years ago.
Very well played.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
And I think that qualifies me.
Yes. Now, do you know, we're going to be talking about exorcism later on. I know you're a big fan of the football business, right? Down in Swindon, Ian Holloway's taken over. Apparently he's worried about ghosts in the machine, ghosts in the football stadium at Swindon. So he's brought an exorcist in to get rid of it.
I need to declare my lifelong love of Ian Holloway.
He's a great bloke.
Not only did he play for Queen's Park Rangers, but he was our manager when we were looking like we were going to become extinct.
Yes. And
he got us promoted out of the third tier of English football. And he's a fella that I absolutely
He's a great
adore.
guy. He comes on TalkSport. He used to come on TalkSport a lot, actually. And he's a top man. But let's talk about what's going on this morning. We've got the big farmers' demonstration coming up to London. We're going to be talking to quite a few people who are coming up and taking part in it. Nobody's quite sure exactly how many people are coming, but this is a massive story and a massive problem for the government, who are still, of course, digging their heels in and saying, oh, no, honestly, don't worry, it's hardly going to affect anyone. And all these people are millionaires anyway. Well, they're not, actually.
Well, let me tell you, the machinery of the state has been out all night monitoring the roads, ANPR systems, all of that, seeing if they can detect any mass movement of tractors and the such like, because they're concerned about this.
Yeah, of course.
They're deeply concerned about it. The farmers actually wanted to protest tomorrow, Wednesday, but they weren't allowed to do that because their vision was basically to blockade Parliament to prevent politicians and the Prime Minister getting there.
And this was Prime Minister's question.
For PMQs,
Well, I'm not even sure if Starmer's going to be there for that, because he's done a runner to Brazil.
Yeah, well, one of his less than capable underlings might be filling for him. Yeah, perhaps. Exactly. So, yeah, they're concerned. This is all of the government's making, of course.
Yeah, of course.
I was in Jeremy Clarkson's farm shop last
were you?
week. Yeah.
How is it? Because it's quite a hard place to get into, isn't it? It's a mob.
It's tiny.
Right.
But the reason I was there, if I may tell you, back in the day, my mum, 84 years ago, my mum got evacuated to Chadlington, which is next to Chipping Norton.
Okay.
And she was down there. She's 96, her best mate's 94.
Right, you took him there?
We all went down there for a lunch.
What a great idea.
It was absolutely
I did actually
joyous.
see, you've just reminded me, I did see you on Twitter drinking some of or tasting some of Clarkson's beer, which you declared to be very good.
I know there's other beers.
There are other beers available, obviously.
And it's not cheap.
Yeah.
But Hawkstone Lager.
Is it good?
Oh, my word.
Really?
It is nectar.
Wow.
Absolutely fabulous.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I was down there...
Well, we're hoping to get Jeremy on at some point, so I'll pass that on to you.
Yeah, so I decided to go to Diddley Squat Farm Shop.
Why not?
And pick up some of the beer. And, yeah, it was a bit of fun. Very popular.
Yeah.
Lots of people going there for photos by the name of the farm shop.
Well, this is the problem. You know, they've taken on the farmers, but in addition to that, they've taken on Jeremy Clarkson. And Jeremy Clarkson, who is quite a popular figure, writes a column in The Sun, writes a column in the Sunday Times, has that incredible programme which used to be called Top Gear. Now he's got the Farm Show. He's also had the other, you know, the new version of Top Gear that was on Amazon, the Tour, or whatever it's called. I mean, you know, the guy is now the figurehead for this sort of movement of farmers who are saying, you're ruining our business.
And just to make it relevant, what I was talking about going to his farm shop and being down there, for me, it's really interesting because, of course, I'm an out-and-out townie.
Yes.
And sitting around having lunch with dear Nancy, that's my mum's best mate's name, and listening to her, then having a meeting with her son the following day, I get a little taste of what rural life is all about.
Right.
And it's very, very different from the life that us city dwellers have.
Well, I'm fortunate enough to live both sort of lives in a way because, you know, I've spent time, I've owned houses in the country, I've lived in Wiltshire, you know, I've lived in Sussex, I still go to Sussex at the weekends. It's a very different world, totally different world. Let's have a look at some young farmers talking about how this government programme is going to damage what they do.
We don't normally address political issues, but as this affects the whole of British agriculture, we thought we'd give you some insight into what's going on.
Yeah, as farmers, we consider ourselves caretakers of the land, which has been passed down from generation to generation, and it's something we plan never to sell.
This here is Clarkson's farm, which spans 1,000 acres. Assuming his land is worth £10,000 an acre, his children will have an inheritance tax bill of 1.8 million, or 2.5 million, spreading that cost over 10 years at 7.5% interest.
Most farmers are considered asset-rich and cash-poor. As you can see here, the farm's profit cannot facilitate the added debt from the inheritance tax, and therefore the children must sell part of the land in order to continue farming.
So the idea is that the government, who think that all farmers are multi-millionaires, will have to sell some farm land just to sort of be able to keep their heads above the water. And that's OK for the government, because the government doesn't understand farming. And the lefties of the Labour Party are all saying, oh, yeah, they're all rich, they can handle it. You know, we saw, of course, John McTiernan once saying on another channel that this is payback for Margaret Thatcher killing off the miners. We'll just kill off the farmers. You know, not very funny and not very clever.
No. Is it the politics of envy?
Yeah.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
But it's so important, I think, if any townie gets the opportunity to spend a bit of time in the countryside, do it. And listen.
Maybe we should send Rachel Reeves out there.
Yeah.
And maybe, you know, this could be a picture of her when she was a farmer.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Now here's a picture of her winning the marathon, a picture of her discovering penicillin. Here's a picture of her, you know, and sowing the land.
Winning a rosette for a prize you.
By the way, I've got some great piece of footage here. This is great. I saw this yesterday. It came in yesterday afternoon. This is Sky News, who appears to have slightly got their eggs mixed up in the wrong basket. This is their report on what we can expect today from the farmers' protest.
You're watching Sky News Today. Still to come, farmers preparing to protest in Westminster as inheritance tax anger grows. We'll be speaking to cereal farmer Ollie Harrison.
People are going, it looks a bit more serious than we thought. Firing rockets in from, you know, Berkshire. You know, and they never changed it. And they never sort of apologised for it either. They just kind of let it go. Brilliant.
Yeah, as if no one would notice.
Yeah, the famous Hezbollah farm down by sort of just west of Reading. You know, they've got a couple of long-range missiles coming out of there into Parliament. But yeah, it's going to be a big day, though. And how will the police handle it, I suppose, is the other question, because we've already seen the usual stories coming out of the Guardianistas saying, oh, yeah, it's going to be hijacked by the far right. They're going to be getting involved. Really, are they?
Well, I just wonder how many chants or placards will there be calling for the mass genocide of an entire race of people?
Yes, well, hopefully not too many.
Yes, I think they'll be pretty light on the ground today.
They will, yeah, absolutely right.
So I would hope that the police will do what they've got to do. I hope it will be peaceful, and I'm sure it will.
Or, as the police like to say, largely peaceful.
Yeah, largely
peaceful.
Yeah,
you know, so very few arrests.
Yeah, well, don't go antagonising the farmers, then, Plod.
Yeah, I wouldn't. No. I'm told as well, though, and you'll remember this. You remember when the fuel protests happened a few years ago, and people with tankers were coming into London, and I think they sort of effectively kettled them in Park Lane. I wonder whether they'll try and do that as well. Whether they don't really, because they were terrified, I'm told, down in Whitehall, of some rogue farmer turning up with a slurry, a lorry load of slurry, and either dumping it outside of Downing Street or spraying one of the buildings. I don't think they'll do that.
Believe you me, the machinery of the state has been working all night because they're on red alert for that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely right. Let's have a look at some of the other front pages. The front page of the Daily Mail. Now, this is always a nightmare. Whatever time of year it is, flight chaos as BA is hit by yet another IT meltdown. Dozens of British Airways flights disrupted last night after another major IT glitch. Passengers left standing in the cold, waiting to board flights. Others stuck on planes, waiting for clearance to take off. The company's website went down. And you'll know this from any kind of travel nightmare that anybody ever has. When you can't speak to a human being, it's an absolute nightmare, you know. A BA spokesman said, our flights are currently operating, but are experiencing delays as our teams work to resolve a technical issue.
It is so frustrating. Last
really
year,
is.
I had a 24-hour delay for a BA flight down at Gatwick.
Okay.
I had to get a hotel overnight and all that.
Right.
Very problematic.
And they pay for it, but it's never enough, is it?
Yeah.
And they give you a voucher for sort of tuppence halfpenny to have a stale cheese sandwich that a cat's peed on.
And the hoops you have to leap through to get that money. Yeah. But I wonder if with the previous sort of air traffic control IT issue of recent headlines.
Yes.
I wonder if anybody was working from home.
Well, I wouldn't be at all surprised. I mean, that is part of the problem. According to a BA, basically they're saying people were waiting 45 minutes for luggage. Staff announced that the luggage actually wouldn't be arriving at all. This is coming in from Verona. Dusseldorf was affected. Tenerife was affected. One passenger who only gave his name as Andrew told Mail Online last night that he had just landed at Heathrow when the outage struck. And basically people were going home without their luggage, which is another nightmare because you never know when you're going to see it again.
The world's favourite airline.
Not anymore.
Remember that strap line?
Yeah, well, ever since they've sort of gone down market, if you like, and been sold off to, I think they're owned by the Spanish now, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's just been one disaster after another. I mean, they've had the problem with the luggage check-in, where they were losing people's bags. They've had numerous problems with flight traffic control, air traffic control, and it's just, I mean, I've pretty much avoided flying with them now.
Yeah, but this budget airline, of course, budget airlines, I should say, has completely transformed the whole flying experience.
Yeah, it has.
Back in the day when I was a youngster and you went on a flight, you always were going to get a degree of luxury.
Yes.
No matter what ticket you had, no matter what airline you were flying on. But of course, budget airlines have changed all that. They've stripped everything down, and you are pretty much ferried around like cattle.
But that's fine. If
you know what you get.
If it's a short flight. But I saw a story, I think it was last month, from British Airways saying that their club class now, you know, British, what do they call it, World Traveller or whatever it is, but it's business class, basically, they're no longer going to be serving meals. They're going to have snacks instead, because it's going to be cheaper. But people are asked to pay 1,500 quid a time to fly to New York, for example, and you don't even get a meal.
Welcome on board your 14-hour flight to Vietnam.
Yeah.
Here's your bag of mini cheddars.
Yeah, exactly.
And crack on.
We'll give you a bottle of wine if you like, but we won't let you drink all of it because you might get a bit leery.
Yeah, exactly. And you'll be met by the Vietnamese police when we arrive at whatever airport it might be.
Yes. Not great. Not great. Listen, we've got loads to do. Peter Blexley's here, of course.